Okay, serious mode now. We're in learning mode. Pulling singles is surely a recipe for disappointment? Yeah, it is. Okay, so look at what we're playing against. We're playing against Mekanko. In a serious tournament, we're playing against Mekanko. And I won the coin, so I had no idea that they were like blinding second or anything. And I'm playing a 50 card list. I'm testing the 50 card build of Branded. And we drew the combo, Alola plus Mercurial. So this is pretty nice. We summon OPs. Our draws from Alola are kind of... is this best of 1? No, this is best of 3. Our draws from Alola were kind of bad. We drew Droplets in another deployment. So, what do you guys want to search with this Mercurial? In this situation, what do you think the best card to search is? Shrouded? Well, what would your plan be for Shrouded? Do you want to draw a random card? Do you want to summon it from the hand? And then fuse it away? Send Sarania for Branded Fusion? You think it's Quam? Okay, what would you do with Quam? You could normal summon Quam and send Shrouded. Then Shrouded can summon from the graveyard. Then you can do the same play. Same play where you send Sarania. It's the same as before, but just with a Quam on the board. Kit because she's cute? Well, that's actually, I think, the best option. I think the best option is to get Kit. Because Kit here gets you Branded Fusion, Rue Impone, or Vela. Okay. You like drawing cards? Yeah, but you're not going to draw with Shrouded. There's no way you're going to search Shrouded and draw a random card. That would be an awful play. Notice that I don't put back a Retribution, because these are good discards and it's also just a good set. If I believe Shrouded gives me Brafu, yeah, if you believe hard enough. Okay, so here, because we have Retribution in the graveyard, what do you think is a good card to send with Grand Granol? What should we search with Lost, and what should we send with Grand Granol? Titaniclad, surely? Grand Granol, Foolish Tragedy? Well, you can't Foolish Tragedy. And Tragedy grabs right Mercuria? What universe are you living in? Sarania? What about the Lost? What do we search with Lost? Garura for a draw? Based. Search Shrouded and send Clad, and then summon Quam in the end phase. Okay. So what I chose to do is send Sarania and search Shrouded. Sarania can pair with the Retribution to search a spell or trap. And the Shrouded can send send Sword to get back with the Mercuria, which is the strongest ceiling that you can do with this. So we choose to get our Branded in red. Then we draw a card, and we draw a crazy card, which is Super Poly. We add back our Mercuria. Then use Retribution and get back the Branded in red. So here's the crazy thing. We drew so many back row that we don't have any room to set with Albion. We have no room to set with Albion. But I still think it's strongest to set the red, the Droplet, the Retribution, and the Super Poly. Because Banishment wouldn't be as strong as any of these. Because we got rid of our Lubellion, we can't make Chaos, so Banishment isn't super good. So we just search Branded in white for follow-up. The reason it's not the second Branded fusion, by the way, because this is post-Banlist. So we were playing with 2 Branded fusions. The reason to get white is because you're going to summon Albaz on the opponent's turn. And this is a really good discard for Albaz, because then it will reset itself with the secret effect. Okay. Then my opponent reveals that they're playing Mekanko. It's pretty obvious that this is Mekanko. And then here, I just decide this deck plays lots of talents and thrusts, so I'm just going to try not to play into that. So I use the Droplet first. And then when they make Typhon, I also play around the thrust and talents, just use the Super Poly. And then here it's pretty simple. The only thing you have to do in these kind of situations, when you have like follow-up on turn 3, your opponent has failed to break your board, but they do have a hand and they maybe have like a back row or 2. The only thing you want to do is make sure that you don't play into Nibiru, and make sure that you deal with the back row. So it's basically just don't summon 5 times, and use Chaos or Furious to pop back row. Or Chimera. So we go Lubellion. It's really safe under Branded Lost as well. Don't run into the random Mirror Force. Basically, yeah. It's not Mirror Force specifically, but it's just something random like Super Poly or Karma Cannon that could be like an OTK stopper. So I go Furious and we pop the back row. So now, here's a little bit of a complicated kill here, because we don't currently have Lethal. We also don't have an Albaz fusion, so Mercuria is not live. And you'll notice that we've summoned 3 times now. We went Lubellion into Furious, and now Quan. So to actually not, like, run into Nibiru here, you have to do a slightly weird line, where I just summon the Cartesia, and go Battle Phase. It's 79. I did not miscount, but this is just to play around Nibiru. Use the Branded in red. We can't attack with what we summon, but we do trigger the Quan, so it works out as lethal. So I was just respecting Nibiru at the end there. Okay, and then for game 2. So in my side deck, I side Nadia Servant, which is a side deck for going first. I also side in Duplications. I expected to be sent first because it's Mekanko. I saw that they were playing like Lava Golem and stuff. So I expected to go first, so I sided to go first. But what happened is my opponent went first. I drew my side card, but it's a going first side card. And they're just going first. Hello, new alt art are amazing. Yeah, they're pretty good. I do really like them. So is anyone familiar with Mekanko? What do they do when going first? What kind of combo can they do? You finally got all the alt arts? Well done. Congratulations. When you see Gen and Ken version, they're always wanting to go first. Is that true? Acid Golem shenanigans? Yeah. They set the trap and a snatch steal. I wish it was just a snatch steal. Yeah, I sold is legal, so they can do a few things. But the cringest one is the Acid Golem luck. What's April's favorite alt? My favorite alt art is probably the Cartesia. But I also really like the Ecclesia. Yeah, so they give me the Acid Golem. They make Kali Yuga. Is that a thing they can do? Can they make Kali Yuga? Also, surprise Fiendsmith, by the way. They're also playing Fiendsmith. Crazy. So the reason I didn't scoop is because there are a lot of cards in my deck that can out the Acid Golem. This card says we can't special summon, but we can still tribute summon, which means if we can get to a Bestial, we can tribute over it. If we draw droplets, droplets can also send it away for free. Tribute summon Sarania? Exactly. That is what I'm trying to do. So I look at my hand and I see that I draw a kit. I have the means to draw some cards here. So that's all we're trying to do. We start with opening. And we have to get Quam. Because Quam is the only opening target that is also a high spirits target. Because I have to draw a Bestial. So we search for Shrouded. We can't tribute Shrouded because it needs 2 tributes. We still don't draw a Bestial, but we can send Garura to draw 1 more card. And we still don't get our Bestial. So now the only hope is that the opponent cannot kill us, and we can set some sort of traps, for in case they remove the Acid Golem. I used Cold Buy on this this Lacrima because I didn't want them to have lethal, but I think that was a mistake. I should have just used Cold Buy on a Mekanko card, because all they need is 3 Mekanko cards to lethal into this. And we lose. So this was basically a side deck issue. This was just, I thought we were going first, and in fact we were going second. And then this is game 3. Are you on Nadia currently? No. And I will not consider it post-list because I don't think the card is good going second. It's only good going first. That's why I play it in best of 3 in my side, but I don't play it in my normal deck. Okay, so this game was pretty sad. This was a pretty sad game. I choose to go first because I didn't want to get FTK'd again. My hand looks okay. We have Cold by Branded Fusion. But I make a big mistake here. They drop a Foolus, and I thought for a long time. And I inexplicably decided I wanted to Cold by it. I don't really know why. I just expected it to be fine. But it was not fine. So I wasted my Cold Buy. I send Albaz first. I'm trying to find another play. But we don't find another play. and then we get ashed. So this game becomes really sad now, because we could have done something. If we'd let the Fua resolve, then called by the Ash, we give them 2 draws, they start with 5 cards, and we have Mirajade plus Albaz in the graveyard, plus the Makuria, plus I guess the droplets, because we would have drew that with Shrouded. So it would have been pretty good. We would have also had Branded in red as well, because we could send the second Albaz with the Shrouded. So this was just an unfortunate mistake. We did not need to cold buy that. What's Mikanko doing while you have no monsters? Well, there you go. That's the other thing. They can't kill me that easily. So I have to sit and watch them spin some wheels. And this game goes on for way too long. If the hand could get a better board after the Ash, would it always be the right play to call by the Fua? If the hand could get a better board after the Ash... You mean if we had a board still after we getting ashed on Branded Fusion? Yeah, I think if you expect the Ash... We should not have called by that Fua. That Fua was a mistake. We should not have called by the Fua with that hand. If we had a hand that also beat Ash, I think it's reasonable to consider call buying the Fua. If we had like duplication or something. But generally just hold the call buy. If you can play through their hand trap that can be called buyed, hold it. Oh, you mean we could have survived this grind game? I don't think so. I don't think we could have survived this grind game. If we put Albaz in defense, they just attack over it with SP. We do not have a target for this banishment, and they're gonna make Desiree, so it's looking real bad. Our top deck is also a blank. I mean, our hand is also a blank. So we'd have to draw a really good card. The only draw that does something through Desiree here? What is the only draw that does something through Desiree? It has to be exactly Shrouded. The Shrouded sends Retribution to get back Branded Fusion. And then the draw with Shrouded has to be something that forces Desiree. That's the only win condition. But we draw this shit. We draw this little guy. So we end up losing. And this is just piercing, so... What a tragedy. What a tragedy of a game. This was actually the first WMGP match I've lost in like over a year. It's crazy. I cook in WMGP. The last 2 seasons, I went undefeated, and this was the first match I lost, and it was all because I didn't call by the Ash. But we did win the whole match, because this is 3v3, remember? So I do play a next set. This was the next match that I played. This one went a little bit better. How can you participate in a match? You have to be part of a team, and then just join the Discord server. Okay, so we got to go first again. And this hand looks pretty damn nice. With the call buy and the 2 plays, it looks nice. Okay. So I go for Tragedy here to get Aliber as my first play. And we get the alt art, of course, the edgy boy. The reason why we start with Aliber here is because opening can extend through Imperm Veiler. because we have Retribution to discard, summoning Quem actually does something. So this Aliber can be negated and we're still fine, which is why we start with it. And that's exactly what happens. A second imperm would suck, but a second hand trap that can be called by it isn't that bad, because we have called by it. So they chain the Maxi, and we call by this, because we cannot play through that Maxi. I know it's kind of the same as the last game, where we called by the Fua, but then got ashed. In this situation, it's way too many summons to do something good. So we definitely call by this. You see how I set the branded fusion there? I was just checking for like toggle tricks that they might have, just gaining information. Okay, and I choose to send Cartesia and Albaz instead of Lubellion because we have the Quan. So we can revive the Cartesia. This is just slightly stronger ceiling than going Lubellion. So now they have the third hand trap. And they hit our Albaz. So what's going to happen here? We have to resolve the Albion. And we don't have anything good to summon. We don't play Dragostopelia. We don't play Quiritis. So we summon the Cartesia. We have nothing in the graveyard. What do we have to summon with this Albion? The only option is to just make Grand Granol itself. We could have made Muddragon, but it's better to do this. That way we keep the Albion on the board. If we'd summoned Muddragon, we'd have to banish this. Could also summon Garura with the Quem and the Cartesia, but that's obviously terrible. We might as well just summon the Grand Granol. And this we send the Lubellion. I wasn't planning on sending Lubellion if there was no Bestial, but this time I am going to go for the Lubellion, because I don't really have anything better. I thought COD only fusions level 8 or higher? Correct, but Albion, which is what we were resolving, is level 8 or lower. So, we didn't resolve Cartesia, we resolved Albion. So here we get our branded lost, and we just set. So, what do we set with this Albion here? Well, the best set is still Banishment, because we have Lubellion on the board now, so we can make Chaos on the opponent's turn. We can also make Chaos with this Baldrake, so that's pretty nice. Opponent goes straight for the battle phase. I'm totally fine with that, because putting Quem in the graveyard is it's not the crazy play that they think it is. It was not even a target that we care about, and the Banishment can also just target the Quem. So in the end phase, we flip the Quem, and this just goes crazy now. We get to pop their one back row. We trigger all 3 effects, Quem, Lost, and we were also going to trigger the second effect of Quem. And they just scoop it up, because they're obviously going to lose that. And then this was game 2. This game was really cool. This is the game I really wanted to show you. It's so cool. I mean, it's a bit of a messy game, but it was a fun game. It was really fun. So, imagine you're going second with Branded and you draw this. That's like 4 bricks and a Druis one. It's looking pretty bad. Opponent's hand, double Maxi, Magnum Droplets, and combo. It's pretty good. so we have to bestial this, because there's not really a better bestial. Obviously you bestial Engraver. If they can put another monster on the board, they can still combo. So they can banish the Lacrima. And then look at this really cool play. They make Ptolemy. If you had made Sequence, you would only have one Light Fiend in the graveyard. Your Lacrima and Engraver are banished. You would just have the Engraver in the graveyard. So Sequence wouldn't do anything there. But Ptolemy does something pretty good. You can detach the Engraver to add it back, and then use the effect. Royal Tract, by the way. So now they get the Lurry. Now they can go. Why wouldn't they chain Magnema? What do you mean chain Magnema? Do you mean to my Druis one? Because they couldn't use Magnema as a quick effect. Not until I put a monster on the board. Yeah. So this way, instead of going straight for Sequence, they get to go Ptolemy into Sequence. Now there is 2 Light Fiends in the graveyard. So they can make Lacrima, revive the Engraver from banished, and still do full combo. So it's pretty cool. They drew 1 Fiendsmith card, and we bestialed them, and they were still able to combo. But this end board isn't great. Obviously this is a control deck, so they don't like super combo. But our hand is also awful, so our hand is so bad. What do you guys want to draw? What would be the best draw here? If you could choose your draw, what would you pick? Just Branded Fusion with the Lost? Well, Desiree doesn't negate activations. Desiree still works through Lost. So Desiree would beat Branded Fusion. Shrouded into Droplet? Okay, but then where's the play? If we do Shrouded, draw Droplet, what do we do? I guess we can make Verte. Super Poly cannot make anything. This is a light, and we're not playing Quiritus. Shrouded send Brafu, send Tragedy with droplets? That works. That works. We draw this card. This was straight out of my side deck. So obviously we don't have a play. We don't have a single play. So all we do is activate the Branded Lost, and crazily enough, this baits Maxi. I think what they were trying to respect is Super Poly into Drago's Tapelia. So that's why they chained. But obviously we're just gonna pass. So we set the Tragedy and set the Banishment. The reason why we set the cards is because if they attack over the Tragedy, it becomes a target for the Banishment. And if we trigger the Uka, we can do a lot of fancy plays if we trigger the Uka, involving popping Tragedy with Borrowload or something, getting other targets with the Banishment, so I choose to set the Tragedy. And for some reason they used Baldrake at the end of the turn. I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't save that for some sort of disruption. So all we have right now is the Uka. This is all we have versus their follow-up. Also, they're playing this. They're playing the Metal Moth. So I'm just going to let this game play out, because it's pretty chaotic. We play it pretty nicely, but they play pretty poorly. So they actually send our set card, which is risky because we have a back row. If Branded doesn't have a target for red or banishment in the graveyard, you kind of don't want to risk giving it to them. So we get a free search, and now we have banishment as a target. And I'm just going to flip it right away, because there is 2 dragons on the board. The reason why I'm flipping it now is because the sequence is in the graveyard. The Desiree cannot negate me. But they do have the Maxi. They do have the Maxi, which is like the best card they could have possibly had. We make Furious. And then under the branded lost window, I could have popped the Desiree. But I didn't really want to do that, because I can always chain to pop it to the sequence effect, to just waste the sequence. They choose to link it into Requiem though. We popped the back row there because I didn't want the back row to be like Imperm or something, because I want my Uka to resolve. That's the reason we popped the back row. They summon with Requiem, and now that triggers the Uka. We summon Ecclesia from the deck, which goes straight into Albaz. They're drawing a million cards here. We go into Albion, into Mirajade. All in defense position because Talents is a thing. Wouldn't going into Chaos be better for a pop 2? It's not pop 2, because one of their monsters was theirs. It would have still only been pop 1. So it's the same thing. This is the first time this card has been summoned in 4 years. I've summoned this card before. Also, it burns them 300 every time they summon, so it's basically like having a mini Masquerade. They send the Mirajade, so I have to chain it. Think TCG branded play is really eating good with Chaos? Yeah, they are. So they have so many cards in hand, but I don't know why they don't activate their Regained. Now they activate the Regained. This deck just doesn't do anything, which is the problem. And this is the reason why playing into Maxi was fine. Because this is not Snake Eye, this is like a control deck. Look at how many cards in their hand do nothing to break the board. All they can do is summon a few times. They set the Omni Negate trap, but that's really slow. They go into Moon, but they've been through all of Fiendsmith already. Is that D-Barry in their hand? That is D-Barry, yeah. Tax Doggy, yeah. He is the Tax Doggy. So they bring out their Desiree again. And they finally get sick of burning, so they negate it. Which is, I find that really funny. Instead of waiting until the end phase, they then walk into the Golden Sword Soul. And then they decide to randomly Nibiru, putting my Albion in the graveyard, my Golden Sword Soul in the graveyard, and my Tragedy in the graveyard. We go into Quam, give them one more draw, send Cartesia, and add it back. They played it so bad? Yeah, they kind of did play it pretty bad. They played it pretty bad. So obviously this is trivial to win on turn 3, unless they have a random D-Barrier. So we now have to play through D-Barrier, which is not that bad. All we have to do is set up like branded in red and play on their turn. It's crazy they had infinite cards to go into nothing, basically. A lot of it is a deck issue, but they did also play it pretty bad. So here they get the full metal, the Omni Negate, and they send my giant token. They should have sent Quam, not the token. Yeah, this is with side decks. This is a best of 3 with side decks. So here, look at this. We go branded in red, target the tragedy. They can't negate because branded lost prevents them from doing that. But what they can do is negate the sword. This is a Carter effect. There's no way anybody who doesn't understand what I'm doing is going to negate branded sword. But actually, if they did, it would have been pretty hard for me. So thankfully they didn't. They just decided to chain the Baldrake to banish my tragedy, which is what they should have done as chaining 2. I don't know why they didn't try to. But I gave them another chance with the sword, so now they can banish. But we knew that this was there, and we planned for it. So we have the Retribution. This recycles our graveyard. They can't negate the Retribution, obviously, it's a counter trap. So, we get the Albaz to the hand. Now we can make Lubellion instead of just Chimera. Which means we can discard the Cartesia, which means we can summon it from the graveyard with Golden Sword Soul. I love this interaction, by the way, where you go Lubellion, discard the target for Sword Soul, and then trigger the Sword Soul. It's really nice. So we get Mercuria, we get a random search, we get the Cartesia on the board, and Mirror Jade. And we preserve the Quam effect, so what we can do is fuse away the Mirror Jade at some point, then revive it with Quam. And under the branded loss window, we use the Mirror Jade to banish this so they can't negate me. They try to negate my Cartesia here, which is just sad because it can't be negated. And then we do the play that I just mentioned. We fuse away the Mirror Jade so we can revive it. And we just draw a card because we don't need to do anything else. They clearly didn't know the matchup. Yeah, I think so. I think they did not know the matchup very well. But you should. You should definitely learn the Branded matchup. Branded is going to be so popular now. Next month. Going to be so popular. You love Lost? Such a busted card? Yeah, me too. It is so strong. Yeah, we just win now. So that was my match. We won both sets, so I didn't have to play a third match. Even though I lost the first match, my other two teammates won their matches. So we won the first set, and then we also won the second set. So I don't have a third match this time. But yeah, that was my WMGP match.